Training is crucial for every type of shooting discipline, but especially for self-defense. While it's easy to get comfortable shooting from the same positions at the range, it's also important to practice from positions that can be life-saving in real-world scenarios. In this episode of Tips and Tactics, firearms instructors Kat and Whitney will explain different types of kneeling positions that can be used for self-defense.
Our first instinct is self-preservation. If the situation and time allows for it, you should seek cover. Cover can be defined as something that protects all or part of your body from incoming fire. Cover gives you the benefit of safety, but also time to determine your next response. Next, let's look at 3 common kneeling positions that can be used with or without the use of cover.
First, let's take a look at the high kneeling position. If I'm a right-handed shooter, my right knee will go to the ground. My dominant foot will be canted inward ever so slightly to allow me better mobility. I will draw my firearm and punch both arms out, either in a modified weaver or an isosceles position. The main thing with this stance is that I have a very tall and upright body posture. Next, let's take a look at the mid-kneeling position. With this position, I'm simply going to turn my dominant foot inward even to a greater degree. That will allow me to actually sit on my dominant foot. I'm lowering my center of gravity, which will enable me to have a good two-handed grip on my firearm and rest the muscular portion of my support arm on my support knee, like so. If I were to leave my posture in this tall position and try to use my knee for support, I would end up getting a bone-on-bone placement. Would be very unstable like this. As I lower my center of gravity, I can actually use that muscular portion for balance and stability. Now let's take a look at the low kneeling position. This one is my personal favorite as it allows me to lower my total height by roughly 2/3 of my body stature. This position is accomplished as I turn both of my feet inward. I'm going to widen my stance and I'm going to sit as low as I can to rest on both of my feet. I will punch both of my arms out straight like this. Notice the stability and the range of motion I have in this posture.
As mentioned earlier, these 3 kneeling positions can be utilized with or without the use of cover. If you're going to practice with cover, here are some basic safety tips to keep in mind.
You want to be close enough to your cover that it provides you with safety, but not so close that if you need to transition from your right side to your left, you would be unable to do so as you are too close to that cover. Allow that proper distance for an easy transition from right on over into your left side. Now, keep in mind, you might also find a time where you're going to be shooting over the top of cover instead of right or left. What is important in this position is that you don't muzzle sweep your face. We have to always be aware of our safe muzzle direction. Basically, when I come up on cover, if I'm not careful, what I have a tendency to do is this sort of a motion here, which if I do it quickly, it doesn't look that bad. But as you'll see, I'm pointing straight up at my face. To avoid that, what I simply will do is as I come up onto my target, I'm actually going to sit back and safely come up like so.
Great tips, ladies. Shooting from a kneeling position, it's not easy, but doing it correctly can be very beneficial. The truth is, due to body type, health, or age, not everybody can perform all of these techniques perfectly. However, that doesn't mean you cannot find a kneeling position that works for you. Keep at it with practice and you will find a way to adapt this technique to suit your abilities. It's better to practice at home in a controlled environment instead of during a life or death situation where every second counts. I am Gaby Franco, and I'll see you next time in another episode of Tips and Tactics, sponsored by Cabela's Outdoor Fund.